Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. I wanted to talk. We were talking about free energy, and we were showing these drones or UFOs or orbs, however you want to word it, that were pulling energy from the ether and then dropping kind of waste products out into the onto the planet below. And it was just hitting me again how this is so symbolic of so many things with the system and the way the system utilizes things in an artificial way that we have natural um, alternatives to. And so we ourselves can pull from the ether chi that will nourish our energy field. And again, it depends on our density. When we look back and we see in our history, Mu. What was Mu? Well, Mu was at a time when we were in fifth density. To start, it was a fifth density reality. It was a higher frequency. It was a society in which, again, extraterrestrials were coming and going regularly. All sorts of beings were interacting, many different species on planet Earth. All that was normal. And really, we could pull at that point in time, the beings that were here were able to pull the prana, the vril, the life force, the chi, the ki, um, from the ether itself in order to nourish them. And this is what we had with Mu. And then we have Lemuria, we were talking about in one of the last videos. Again, a lot of times Lemuria and Mu get kind of interblended as the energies are closer than, say, Atlantis, which, very different energy there. And then we have Tartaria as well. So I'm going to let Cindy share again to do a recap on some of the different, energies and things that she's felt from the different societies and what the people were like and what the planet was like. And, because it has gone through these cycles. The yugas are very, very, very different from each other. Yeah, a Satya yuga, a golden yuga, is very different than a silver Treta. And then Dwapara, bronze, is also very, very different. And then the Kali Yuga, which we've just basically started to get ourselves out of, is again very different from Dwapara.
So when we're talking Mu and Lemuria, the information that I get is that we are dealing with crystals for amplification, and we're dealing with something like water as far as how to survive and what really keeps their civilizations going and very much living in concert with the earth and as having a very symbiotic nature and being, very meditative and being very, I guess, a Buddhist like, yogi like, very peaceful type of people. We go to Atlantis, they get a little more into the engineering and using technologies in a way that obviously it wasn't the best thing to do. And that lesson was hard learned. But they did have a problem because of the rise up in technology, just pushing things too far. There was accidents. So those types of energies, although the beings were very diverse and they're very different, but those are the things that I pick up as far as the differences between the two. Now, when we're talking about more of a 5D type of world, it's like, what is it they're using for sustenance? And when I took a look, it's like different beings use different things. Sometimes they're able to use the prana. They're just able to breathe in the life force through all of their pores. Sometimes it's just something like water. Sometimes you can charge yourself from a crystal. Now, these are 5D densities. That's not bringing 5D here. 3D, our bodies are different. Everything is different. We have to treat them different. But in a true 5D society, beings are able to hold themselves and carry themselves using different types of energies that are always in existence. So, therefore, not exhausting any energy. When we're looking at 3D, it's so hard to get the balance here in 3D. We have to have balance. It's like walking a tightrope. Whereas in 5D, that balance just comes so very naturally that you can feel yourself moving out of balance, and it's so quick just to move right back into balance because you feel it and it's an instinct. It's more like breathing. It just is. So when you come down here on 3D, you have all these options about how are you going to charge your body and how are you going to treat your temple, and that balance is much harder found here than it is in the other societies. So I hope that helps.
So to reiterate, basically, when we talk about Mu, again, we're talking more like in a golden age and perhaps extending into a silver age. I feel that what we would call Atlantis is more of maybe silver towards turning to bronze, and really more of a Bronze Age. Um, civilization, so to speak. And then with the fall of Atlantis, again, that's going into the Dark Age. Because again, Atlantis was such that the beings in inner Earth, the beings living in the oceans, the beings from the stars, and other humans living on the surface, were all interacting, and we're all interacting in the other yugas too. And then again, everything gets really secret and dark because the dark age is about lack of light, and light again is information. And light brings information, which brings gnosis. But it's understanding. And so again, the key to the dark age, and even being able to have a dark age, is to have a non-functioning pineal gland. And again, our pineal glands are being turned on, and we were talking about in the earlier video um, the fact that they're putting up more into the skies than ever. It's because it's a directed effort to stall the awakening, to stall the gnosis, to just because they can't stop the gnosis. They've tried this many, many times. And again, this is why we've gotten some information again from the guides about what's likely to happen at this time period, because it's what they've done previously. This is not the first go round. But they can't stop it. They can only stall it to a degree, and also in those people that will go along with the system. So the good news is there's more light coming into the planet. We do have time to go, though. This is the thing, and so many people are impatient for heaven on earth. But we came here with the purpose to experience exactly what this experience brings us, which is an experience of duality and choices.
Right. I mean, it does seem so many times like things are just simply unfair. And I can agree. I've been in plenty of situations in my life where it was very, 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 very unfair. But I could not see the whole picture. I could not see past the experience that I was having in that moment. And it was very dark and it was very difficult, and it came with just nothing but grief and sorrow, and I just couldn't figure out, why do I have to sit in this? Why do I have to sit here? But, panning out, looking at the bigger picture, I can see why I sat there for so long. I had to fulfill my life's purpose, to be able to reach others at a soul level where they otherwise might not have anyone else that could reach them. So I find that to be such a huge blessing. Looking back, yes, it was so hard. It was hard, but would I take it back? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not for the people that I have been able to bring a little bit of light into their lives, because they seriously have none. I mean, people are in such a horrible situations, and that is really, really sad. But our job here is to try to bring them light in any way possible. And maybe we cannot fix all of the medical things that are wrong with them, but we can lift that spirit up to a place where they want to continue on and help repair their bodies, minds, and souls.
Absolutely. So again, when we talk about qigong and the prana and pulling life force from the ether, this is a guarded secret in the dark age. This is something that they don't want you to understand. In fact, there's a group over in China that was extremely ostracized and demonized, and they just you know they were in the bullseye of China's political system because they, as part of their spiritual practice, they cultivated pulling the chi from the ether, pulling the life force into their bodies. We've talked about in Qigong that there's three main reservoirs in the body for this life force. And below your navel, about 2 to 3 inches below your navel, is your lower dantian. It's also called the hara point in Japanese. This is the more heavier, more viscous, more dense form of chi that is stored there. And then in between your heart chakra and your solar plexus chakra is your middle dantian. This is your emotional center, and the chi there is a little less viscous. Again, you could correlate it to viscosity of different oils. If you're somebody that's mechanically inclined, and then in your upper dantian, which is in the area of the pineal gland, that there is where the Shen, the spirit, is cultivated. And what we can cultivate in this life and draw up there, we take with us. So knowing that you could actually increase your ability uh, to do so many different things, because again, the ether, the chi, the life force, is all about us all the time. And this is where we have choices. Somebody that's so inclined that could have a daily practice of pulling this into their body, storing it first in the lower dantian. So that fills up and that gives you this protective Wei Qi field. It's like your shields go up and you're no longer constantly sick. You're not getting allergies on a regular basis. Yes, you can have a full Wei Chi field, and still, if you abuse it, if you go binge drinking and eating nothing but Oreos, you're going to get an allergic response. That's just going to happen. But your Wei Chi field will bounce you back so that you won't get sick like somebody that is not cultivating the life force. And in fact, again, what we have going on in the world, as the birds are really getting talkative, when the Polish psychic was asked about, is there another plague upon the land, coming? Yeah, it's being cultivated in a negative sense. People's Wei Chi fields are being depleted purposely. They are depleting the Wei Chi field when we can go against that and we could cultivate it through a practice like Qigong, which simply means energy work. It's just knowingly taking in the prana into your body. How do you do that? I think the easiest way to do that is to simply either stand or sit. You can still do it sitting. Put your bare feet on the ground. If you can't because it's too cold out, then maybe socks or something non-rubber. Rubber can interfere with drawing the life force in, and that's part of why we have rubber on our shoes all the time, because they don't want us drawing the life force in. Cindy has a pair of moccasins with no soles for a purpose, and that's again to cover and protect your feet, but without inhibiting the flow of the life force. Just get your feet into the earth, ground, root, see roots coming out of your feet into the earth. With every inhale, breathe in through the belly. First, breathe down, expand the abdomen downward. Feel your expansion go into the kidneys. Feel your abdomen expand in the kidneys and the low back. and then let the belly come out as you're breathing in more. So you're really going to kind of exaggerate your breath, and you don't raise your chest. And then, it's called belly breathing, baby's breath. There's many different terms for this. And then exhale and send any sort of negative frequency out of your pores. So, or you could visualize it sending the negative down into the earth. So, as you're breathing in, draw the life force up. If you just want overall benefits of just increasing your physical vitality, visualize it as a brilliant crystalline green. Think of what you might call an Irish green or green grass, vibrant, thick green grass, crystalline and sparkling in color, and draw that into the feet and draw it up into the legs and gather it at that spot right below your belly button, about 2 to 3 inches below your belly button, and visualize a glowing crystalline green orb there that gets brighter with every breath you take. And again, it's just that intention and setting the intention out, because we know from quantum physics, it's all about intention. This matrix does what we tell it to. And this is where the control system takes your power away from you by giving you, again, beliefs, constructs that are very, very limiting. Again, by gaslighting and giving you these thoughts that you're somehow less than perfect, or, not worth anything. Nothing could be farther from the truth, because source is within you. So you can just simply do this one exercise, draw the life force in there, see that orb getting bigger. You could take your time with it and visualize it expanding out to encompass your entire body, and you will start to feel it in time. You have to sometimes, quote unquote, fake it till you make it. And there is a point in time when you will feel that life force. And probably most of you guys that are listening right now are already awakened. So, you will feel it right away, and just gather it there. And then there's techniques in Qigong where when that overflows, it shoots upwards into the middle Dantian. And then when that overflows, it goes up into the upper Dantian. And then whatever we can cultivate and take with us, whatever we could get to go up into the upper Dantian, we could take with us into our next life.
And that's our soul spirit, and that's the thing that it gets really uncomfortable in being in these little bitty bodies when you create that much energy, when you have that much energy to stuff into a 3D vessel. But it's so important to cultivate these energies, to eat right. I think that's probably the weak part, where it is really interesting and fun to get into cultivating the energy, but if you're not doing the things that you need to do and eating properly, it's not going to get you very far. You're still going to be having tears and rips in your aura, and you're still going to allow the other negative energies in because you're not changing your diet. So that's the really, really hard part, to work with people on, because just people just aren't quite ready to heal. But the thing is the miracles are there. The healing is there if you really truly want it.
Absolutely. There have been yogis, individuals that have been on record not eating or drinking for weeks or even over a month, eating or drinking. Sure, we could do it in a starvation situation without food, but science will tell you you can't last more than maybe 3 or 4 days, 5 or 6 at most, without water. But yet they do it. They have done it. And again, this is leftover understanding from the other yugas, in which we had a much bigger understanding. Now, the average person certainly couldn't do it. The detoxing effect would be way too much for them, because, again, the Kali Yuga cultivates weakness. It cultivates dependency. This is what it does. This is what the system does. So, certainly that wouldn't really apply for somebody that is, again, a McDonald's every day. You
Mhm.
have to take it in stages and detox and get yourself clear. A mind body breath practice like yoga or qigong is invaluable, and I really think it needs to be the number one priority if you want to move to become the best version of yourself that's possible for this life, irregardless of your other things that you're pursuing. We might have other pursuits that are very, very much of this world, so to speak. This is critical understanding to really become the best version of ourselves.
Indeed.
Is there anything else you want to share?
No, I'm not thinking of anything.
So, again, with each age, again, they're very different. The beings you encounter are different, and the food is different. In a true fifth density situation, there is no need to eat like we eat at this point in time. You can just simply pull the life force from the air. There are circumstances where certain yogis, etc., have been able to, and qigong masters that have been documented, and even people that are not even technically a qigong master. I remember reading some documented encounters from, say, I want to say it was around 1800 here in the U.S., where a European settler was introduced to some Native Americans and introduced to like grandfather or great grandfather, and he was supposedly 200 years old in this tribe. We do know of that Qigong master in China that was documented living 256 years. Also, there's that Hindu yogi we've talked about multiple times that was documented going over a month without any water or any food. These are absolutely extreme examples in the Kali Yuga, but for the Bronze Age, that's nothing at all. In fact, our lifespan will double and triple probably overnight as soon as we are outside of the system and we detoxify ourselves of everything that has kept us laden and toxic.
I agree.
So as always, guys, much love. Listen to the birds. They have a lot to share on this. And one other thing that I would say is we can absolutely, when we get into the Bronze Age, and we are basically in that transition period now, you and maybe you're somebody that already can communicate with the animals, like Dr. Doolittle. If any of you guys remember Dr. Doolittle, this is what we're stepping into. It is absolutely exciting, the possibilities and potential. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.